Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the second conference on covert harassment. Last year we did this in Brussels, and this year 2 days in Berlin. I want to thank you very much all for coming. I know for many of you it has been very difficult to come. Some people travel very far. We have people even from Russia, from Greece, people from Sweden, and of course people from Germany. I want also to thank our wonderful speakers who now participate in this event. Many come also from very far away. So thank you, wonderful speakers. And I want to thank the team, because I did not do this alone. So we work on this as a team. 4 organizations, human rights organizations, organize this event. And I want to bring them on the stage for a short moment. That's Melanie Vritjan from UCASH, Eva Pavela from Stopset. Then I'm looking for Harold Brems from Initiatieve gegen elektromagnetische Folter. And Beata. Where is Beata?
Last but not least.
Last but not least. So I'm now missing Beata. And then last but not least, but certainly not least, Beata Zalewska, who also helped organizing this event. So I will give for one small opening word the microphone to each of you.
Yes, hello. I'm Melanie Vritjan from UCASH, and I would like to welcome you all very cordially to the second edition of our Covert Harassment Conference. So, welcome and thanks for coming.
So do I, because we are late.
Yeah, I'm also very glad to be here, and there are so many people also here in the as a forum or in the public, and I hope we can have 2 good days with many good informations, and maybe we can make a breakthrough and we can receive something out, because this topic is very important, and you don't can read anything in the newspapers about it, and I think it's very much important that we are here and doing something together against this crimes. Yeah. Okay.
Hello, thank you all for coming. I wish everyone a wonderful time. I hope it will be rewarding in one or another way. And I would like to ask everyone to focus on the truth in life, because the only truth can save us. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all. Wonderful. Okay, I want to start this conference with 1 minute silence. As you know, probably most of you know, Raouni Kilde was last year at the conference in Brussels, and well, she is a wonderful person. She inspired many of us, so powerful, and she gave a wonderful speech, a wonderful talk. So I want to start. We dedicate this conference to Raouni Kilde, and I want to start with 1 minute silence, please. Okay. Thank you, Robin. Uni was also writing a book. It was almost finished when she died, and this book will be available during the lunch break, I think. So you can ask. Yeah. Okay, so what is this conference about? It's about covert harassment. And what is covert harassment? Covert harassment is that we are being attacked, that you are being attacked without either you knowing it or either other people knowing this. So when you are attacked and not knowing this, I will give you an example. You can, for example, you have a court case, and it's very important to go to court case because it's about the custody of your child. And when you are sitting in the courtroom, you have to come up, you suddenly get extreme diarrhea, but you cannot leave the courtroom because then you won't be there. So this can be done with either poison or electromagnetic weapons. And if you don't know this, then you can call it covert harassment. Then there's another form of covert harassment, and that's when you do know it. If you are attacked multiple times, then you start wondering, okay, what is going on? For example, if you are, every time you're going out of your home and a neighbor opposite comes out of your house, then at a certain moment you are beginning to understand this. And there's synchronization, you are being somewhat attacked. And that's also a form of covert harassment. This can also be, for example, when you go to the toilet and the neighbor, every time you go to the toilet, every time the neighbor above you also goes to the toilet. That's harassment. This harassment is very much hidden, so either you see it or you don't see it. If you're just covertly harassed without you knowing it, then you will not see it. If you're covertly harassed without you knowing it, then only you will see it, and they will make sure the ones that are attacking you, that the other people will not see it. That's about covert harassment. Covert harassment is, in short, a word but is in many ways used for two types of harassment, two groups. So you have the electronic harassment and you have the organized stalking or gang stalking, or what is very well known in Germany, the word is Zersetzung. So both are programs, mind control programs, and they're used to either eliminate a person or to experiment on a person. The electronic harassment is often done with microwave weapons, with ELF weapons, very low frequency weapons. These weapons go through a wall, so like a mobile phone, you're in a closed room and you can make phone calls, so the frequencies are going through the walls, going in and out, and you can make weapons based on this principle, and you can attack people inside their homes everywhere you want. Organized stalking is very much coordinated. Organized stalking is, you usually have one or two people who are coordinating this, and then a group of people who is involved in the stalking of a person. And the characteristic is of both forms of this harassment that is not only at your home, that it's going on everywhere. This is all pretty bad. It's not only the stalking or the attacks with these laser weapons on your body, but even this is also taking a step further. They also can attack your mind. And attacking your mind is pretty horrible. When they can reach your thoughts, then there is no privacy left for you anymore. So I was yesterday talking to a person, and when you, for example, want to write a book, then other people can see on the internet what you're searching for, like NSA, for example, and they can also publish a book, the same book, the month before you release your own book. So if you know this and understand it, then you can limit your searches, for example, and you can make a plan for yourself to not to search on the internet, but just to start writing this book at a certain moment. But even then, because they can read your mind, they can access your mind, they can access your thoughts, and they can even respond to your thoughts, so they can even publish a book that you want to write while you're only thinking of it. And that's a pretty horrifying reality. Many TIs who are here, they understand that at a certain moment, I mean, if you just attack in the beginning, you don't understand this, but at a certain moment you will understand that these attacks are used for experiments. They experiment on you. So, and what is the aim of all this experimentation? So the aim of this experimentation is that you are, that they are developing this weaponry and methods, not just for you, not just for a few people, but in the end for the whole population. So what's being done to the target individuals, as they call them, the victims of these crimes, that's technology and methods are being rolled out to bigger groups of people, to larger groups of people. So in fact, the problem of the TIs is very much linked to electronic enslavement and control of humanity. And I think this is one of the things that TIs must realize, that it's their problem. Of course, many TIs focus on their own problem, but it is not only our problem, but it's in fact the problem of the children of the world. They will start doing this soon to everyone. And then we are speaking of electronic slavery. Okay. What more? Yeah, how are things related? We have wonderful speakers. So we have, of course, many speakers who are here talking on the subject, like Wami Babacek, Henning Witte, Harold Dems, John Hall, he will come from the United States. Kevin Barrett, I don't know if you know, but how is he related to this? Kevin Barrett is very well known, and you can relate it very much to the immense problem of bringing out the truth. This is also a problem we are facing very much. And Johansson is talking about microwave radiation. Well, we all know, most of us know microwave radiation. Odom Dammakar is about false flags. Well, I think many false flags cannot be done without total surveillance and in many cases control of certain people. So this electronic harassment system, this covert organized stalking system is necessary to do false flags. Okay, what do we want to achieve with the conference? Well, for the people that are attacked all the time, what we want to achieve is that this stops. I mean, it has been enough. This is a kind of MK Ultra, Cointel Pro, I don't know if you know these programs, MK Ultra, Cointel Pro to the max. So this must stop. There has been so many suffering. I have the Scoping Foundation, and since 2007 I have contacted with people all over the world, not only in the Netherlands. And I know from my own experience that the TIs I have contacted with, they commit suicide maybe after 2 years because they just cannot stand it. And we here, the people here that are victims of these crimes, then in fact you are the survivors, because I believe many people are attacked, but they don't know and they disappear and you will never hear of them again. So this must stop. And that's what we must look for. We must look for ways to stop this. And we must tell also the world about this electromagnetic weaponry and these methods. That is not only for individuals, but it's also being rolled out to the population, so also the children of the world. And we must not focus that much only on ourselves, which is of course very important, but we must put this in a little bit broader context. Control of the population, control of individuals. In the end, my opinion is that this will lead to if we don't stop this, all this high-tech weaponry, this will lead to the robotization of humanity. And our children will be zombified. I think if we do not stop this, then humanity as we know it will end. So do we want another kind of humanity? I I'm not ready for this yet, so I must think about this much more many times. I like to keep it a little bit like it is at the moment. Okay, so how can we achieve change? How can we achieve change? How can we make breakthroughs? That's extremely difficult because all governments in the world, they totally deny what's going on, and that's a horrifying reality. I mean, there's no government who says anything about this. Maybe 15 years ago, Russia tried to make a ban on the weapons of the neuro weapons, and they did not succeed because this agreement was blocked by the United States. So there is no control, everything is hidden, but it's being done, and it's being done at an increasing pace. The technology is advancing very fast. You are the victims, you are the people who have been experimented upon, and that's why they have made so much progress. We all know what happened after 9/11. For me personally, 9/11 meant the end of freedom. They introduced immediately the Patriot Act, and the Patriot Act meant that the United States could attack anyone, any individual, any group, everywhere in the world, without questioning. The governments around the world accepted this, and they even got along with it. Well, they should say, no, we do not accept this, and we're going to protect our citizens, and we're going to stop doing any business with the US government. So this is the end of freedom, and I believe personally that the 9/11 event was created to get us into this last phase of electronic enslavement. You can disagree with me, but I believe that's very much already at 9/11 that many of the surveillance was in place, and after 9/11 they just would introduce new laws and go into this last phase. So how do we make progress? How can we expose this? So we must expose the truth. And I don't want you to wait for other people. I don't want you to wait for me. Just get it out, get the message out. Don't be afraid to speak about it. I think we have enough credible reference points. I mean, this conference is one of the points. You have a number of very credible organizations. You have a number of very credible people in the world at this moment writing about this. So you can refer to it. But be careful, don't panic. Do the incredible thing. And we need much more whistleblowers. So people working in areas that are important, they should come step forward. Politicians who know about this, they should step forward. Scientists working in this area, they should step forward. They should blow the whistle on this, because this is not only about developing technology or just doing some political games. This is about the future of the world. This is about the future of the children, and that's what everybody should realize. So I urge politicians to know about this, to step forward, and I urge scientists and psychologists to know about this, to step forward. And I urge people, from the police, for example, not to discredit victims when they come to them, but to step forward and to blow the whistle on this. Okay, summarizing. This conference brings wonderful people together. You, all the participants, the people who came here and traveled long ways to get here. It brought together wonderful speakers. Maybe it's Kevin Barrett. I mean, I cannot mention anyone. Really wonderful speakers. And I wish you, of course, all a wonderful conference. And I hope we learn a lot at this conference from each other. And I hope we inspire each other. I hope we can together find solutions and breakthrough. And I hope we can stop the suffering of the ones that are targeted with the eyes. And I hope we find ways to expose all the possibilities of this technology to prevent technological enslavement of humanity.
well, I introduce myself. I'm Peter Moore from the Stoking Foundation. I will talk a little bit about the Stoking Foundation and my work, but I will make it short, so I will skip large parts. Stoking Foundation, why is Stoking Foundation important? Well, it's important in that sense that it's important for us as victims to unite. That's what the Stoking Foundation is about, to support victims, to unite victims, and to find ways together to get this out into the open, so that all this harassment can stop. So it's the same like Christophe said, for initiatief tegen elektromagnetische folter, same for you, Cash. We all try to do things that can stop the harassment, that can stop the attacks on these people, mostly innocent people, and in the meantime we also try to convince other people like politicians that this is not only our problem but also the problem of themselves, of all the people in the world. So yesterday we had very much talk about technology and groups of people, populations of people, but I want to talk this time a little bit about the people who are targeted, because many people here in this room are targeted, most 24 hours a day. And yesterday we also talked very much, and also at the beginning of this day, we talked very much about electronic harassment. But it's not only electronic harassment what's going on. So we're talking about covert harassment, and covert harassment also consists very much of organized. Okay, this was a little bit stalking, but it's now okay. I'm stalled by a empty battery this time. Just getting paranoid. Yeah. Okay, so the organized stalking and the game stalking is what in Germany also is called, maybe it came even from Germany, Zersetzung. And I also know that for many people here in this room, the harassment started with this stalking. So and after some time, people started realizing that it was not only the stalking, but also the electronic harassment starts. It will also be attacked with stomach aches, headaches, but in many cases it starts with the organized stalking, the gang stalking, or the Zersetzung. Is organized stalking, gang stalking, Zersetzung, is that more damaging or is it not so bad? As electronic harassment, electronic torture. No. If you're stalked in a very organized way, then you can say, this is really so bad that you can die. I mean, the people who are stalked in this very organized way, they look for ways to escape. They sometimes they commit suicide. Sometimes they commit a crime that has been set up for them. It's the stalking, it continues 24 hours a day. And how do they do it? What's so special about stalking that you can get out of your mind, that you can go insane? How do they do this? They do this in many cases by repeating the same things over and over again. So every time you go to the toilet, the neighbor above you goes to the toilet. Every time, not just once time, every time. Every time you get out of your house, a neighbor also goes out of his house. Every time. Every time you go to the supermarket and want to buy a product, the product is sold out. Every time. You go onto the highway, you drive with your car, and somebody comes in front of you and throws a cigarette butt out of the window. Not once, not twice, not 10 times, 20 times, 3 days in a row. this does something to your mind. You go, I mean, this takes over your mind. At a certain moment you realize this, that this is not just some funny thing that's happening to you, but this is very serious. Someone is really attacking you. And at that moment you get very afraid, because who is it? Who is it? Who is it that is attacking you? I didn't know in the beginning. So you get scared, you get paranoid, you start looking around you. And you, at that moment, you don't want to talk to other people, because if you would say that every time when you go to the toilet, the neighbor also goes to the toilet, then they would say, yeah, sure, happens to me so often. Or if someone also, when I'm in the car, someone also sometimes throws a cigarette butt out the window. But this continues. For example, they also bang on the wall. When you raise your coffee cup, they bang on the wall. Raise your coffee cup again, bang on the wall. Raise your coffee cup again, sound outside. Raise your coffee cup again, someone is smashing a window somewhere. All the time. Then you ask your brother to come and visit you. Please come, hear the sounds. And then your brother comes to your home and sits there, you drink coffee and this. Nothing happens. Problem, nothing happens. And then you start thinking, this system is fucking me. I'm being fucked by a certain system. Someone wants to drive me totally crazy. And you get more paranoid and more paranoid. And it's really quite horrible. At a certain moment, you raise your coffee cup, and that you do it in the daytime. But at a certain moment, you do it in the evening when it's dark outside. You close your curtains, raise your coffee cup, bang, the wall. This continues. So somebody is not only looking from maybe a window outside. Somebody has maybe cameras inside of your home. They're looking at you the whole time. So what can you do? You should go start looking for devices that may have been in your home, your laptop or something. You're going to take off the camera, the microphones in your home, you're going to turn off the plug from the TV. But every time you raise the coffee cup, bang on the wall, sound outside. And this is really for many people, I know for many people the same kind of things happen, maybe the same, this coffee cup thing, but these repetitive actions where that in fact nobody should be able to see, they drive you out of your mind because you don't know what it is, you don't know who's looking at you. And that's really a very weird and crazy feeling. So at a certain moment you just walk outside, and then when you walk outside, you hear people talking, passing you, and they talk the same words that your brother said to you when he was the last evening with you. How could they know? What's going on? You go home, you just maybe call your mother or your sister, and then you walk out again, you go to the supermarket, and you walk in the supermarket, and then you hear the words exactly from the person in the supermarket that's passing by you, exactly the same words that you said to your mother. Crazy. You go totally paranoid. And at a certain moment, they increase all this harassment, much more frequencies, all things together, and then is the time for you to collapse. That should be the end of you. Then you should go to a psychiatrist, you should go down on your floor and beg for help. You should beg for help. Many people go to a doctor, they go to a psychiatrist, they go to the police. I went to the police, and when I came at the police station, I lived in a quite small city. When I came at the police station, a small police station, there were over 100 people in the police station. So I had to wait maybe for a month to file a report. Impossible to file a report. So you are blocked. I went home, you go home, and then you want to make a phone call. You're in your home, you're getting more and more paranoid. You want to make a phone call, but then you see, hey, no connection. You go to your laptop, you want to email. Hey, my email is down. You have the windows open in your home, and at a certain moment, people are walking by, and you hear they talk very loud, and you hear them saying, he's not going to get out, he's not going to get out, he's never going to get out, we got it. That's stalking. Organized stalking, gang stalking. It's created to drive you insane, to eliminate you, to take you out, to make you totally crazy. And the people here in this room, I think maybe at least 50-60% have experienced this. They are survivors. You are survivors. Because if you do this to a person, I truly believe that only very few persons who you do this to will actually understand this at a certain moment and have the ability to rise and say, okay, this is being done to me, I must change my way of living, I must change what I do, and I must accept it and try to survive. But many people who this is done to, they do not understand. And I think we will never hear of them again. They end up in a psychiatric institution. They end up in prison because they commit a crime where they have been set up for. At a certain moment, already also very much in the beginning, I very much believed that I was in a program of a number of people, a number of the same kind of targets as myself, who were being set up to kill a politician, to murder a popular politician. I don't know how I got that idea, maybe it was forced into my head, but that's what it felt like. The whole harassment all the time felt like a book, like this. So, day one we do this, day two we do this, and day three we do that, four that. So I also had the feeling that every week on Monday morning there was an evaluation talk of how I responded to all this harassment, and then on Monday evening the new times started, so the new page started of this book. So what I want to say is that this electronic harassment is very bad, it's terrible, but the gang stalking, the organized stalking, this is zetsun, is the first phase in many cases, and many people will not survive this, and if you survive it, then you enter, in many cases, the new phase, and then the new phase is electronic harassment. This starts in the beginning with just, well, for me, just few, minor attacks, I can say. I read about it on the internet, and I said, well, if this is all, come, hit me. But then at a certain moment, after a few years, they hit me. Yeah, it was election day in the Netherlands. And then it started with some kind of electronic rain that attacked me. And I thought, what was this? And this electronic rain suddenly changed into beams that cooked me and burned me. And that is, I think, the same for many people here, also in this room. This is not harassment, this is torture. So the organized stalking and the zetsun, the electronic harassment is not just some kind of harassment, it's torture. These are torture programs. You can read about CIA torture programs on the internet. Robert Duncan, many of you know him, he wrote a book, The Soul Catcher, and in this book, The Soul Catcher, there are many methods described, but there's a very big section in this book that describes the CIA torture methods. And this is in fact what this organized stalking, electronic harassment is a kind of MK Ultra to the max. You also have COINTELPRO, I don't know if you know COINTELPRO, it's the counterintelligence program of the FBI, also a long time ago it was forbidden. So the mix of MK Ultra and COINTELPRO, this is the organized stalking and the electronic harassment. So that's a little bit what I want to say. People are attacked, not just a little bit like that, not slowly, but really to torture them, to change their personalities. You see, first they are isolated, their personalities are a little bit being changed. And after that they are tortured, and then in the meantime they are being experimented upon. So they may try a certain attack on you, and then try it on, if it works nicely, they will try it on a politician. For example, I don't know, if Sarkozy, he was shot once with a heart attack weapon. He got a heart attack when he was running. I know a few weeks before, I had very much heart attack, attacks on my heart. So with these external weapons, they attack your heart and you feel horrible, you think you're going to die. But it doesn't happen, and so that happens many times. And then after a week, I heard Sarkozy also got this treatment. So I will say it's the same. They may probably have been testing this not only on me at that time, but probably on a lot of other people, so they get a very good view of what electronic torture is and what a heart attack weapon can do, and then apply this technology to politicians, whistleblowers, activists. This is a little bit what I want to say. I want to conclude this, and I want to say that this all is done by certain people, and there are almost no whistleblowers in this area. But there is one, and that's Carl Clark. Carl Clark is a person who has been working for MI6, I think, and Mossad to harass people. And a number of years ago, he decided to tell the world about this. He gave an interview in the magazine Round Site. And last year, we invited him for the conference to speak at the conference, but Carl did not come. He had an accident. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Coincidence, of course. Yeah. And this year, we also invited Carl, and he would come. He loved to come. He wanted to speak to you all. But unfortunately, he had an accident. He fell down from the stairs and got some bacteria in his leg, and he could not leave. So Beata and me, we decided to visit Carl and make a short video. Last few words about the harassment. So this is called, we use it, the words harassment, but it's torture. To many people it's torture, and to many people it's horrible. Everything's look at that. So many people also who experience this call this an electronic torture chamber. So you have torture chambers all over the world, torture prisons all over the world, but with all this technology you can do this everywhere, in any room, any place. And then there are also people who call this a silent Holocaust, because so many people, a silent Holocaust, because so many people disappear without dying. They die without knowing what is the reason. Their families think they're crazy, and they run away out of despair. And that is what we all should think about, and that is what we all should try to stop. That's what I want to say. And that's why we are together. I hope all will be inspired together and to stop this, to get this out, this word. Okay, thank you.